Hi, Analisa 6 here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the November 2023 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius for sun and rising placements. It's November. Well, today is October 31st. It's Halloween, but we're only a few hours away from November 1st. It's late. It's 9:17 p.m. and I'm starting your video. I decided to power through all the horoscopes tonight, so I'm pretty tired because I started doing this pretty early on in the day and it takes me a long time to do all these, but November is also your birthday month, Sagittarius. So happy birthday to all of the November Sagittarius people. I'm Sag rising, and so this horoscope is also for me. So I'm excited to dive in and see what's happening for us Sagittarius dominants. So we start out November in Scorpio season, and we've had Mars and Mercury and the Sun in series passing through Scorpio for a bit now. And the area that this is hitting for the Sagittarius horoscope is the area that has to do with the subconscious. And this is the area that Pisces traditionally rules, and all of the things that represent the 12th house where all of this is happening is the stuff that has to do with our subconscious, our spirituality, our connection to source energy. The 5th house rules creativity, but the 12th house it's interesting. So here's kind of my woo perspective. The 5th house, which is Leo ruled, is how we kind of are active in our creative expression. But the 12th house, where Pisces lives, I believe is where creativity actually stems from. So, a lot of creative types, musicians especially, believe that when we are creating music or a song, it's almost like it's coming from somewhere else and we are channeling it, or it's flowing through us. Like when you hear a melody, as a songwriter personally, it's always interesting when I hear a melody. My dog's being nuts. When I hear a melody, a lot of times it feels like it already exists. Like it's not necessarily something that I feel like I made up as Analisa. It feels like it's almost like I'm catching it and bringing it into this existence. And at this point, so much has already been done in so many ways that I feel like so many melodies sound the same. I hear so many songs where I'm like, that sounds like this or that, or what I've heard before. So I think it's hard in this day and age to really be genuinely original because so much has been done. But with that, a lot of times when we're being creative, it feels like something that we're channeling from this ethereal imagination, imaginal realm. And that's what the 12th house really is tied to, is the imaginal realm. And so when we, dream, when we're asleep and we're in a dream state, and if we, remember our dreams and it conjures up this entire story, that's in that realm. It's in the imaginal realm where the subconscious is. And it's a really powerful realm for dissecting what we are going through, how we're feeling, how we're thinking, things from our past that come up for us that we're sorting through, that come up in our dreams in the subconscious. And, if we remember our dream, we can kind of make those things more conscious. And so that's the area that's been highlighted and that is continuing to be highlighted for the first little part of November. Mars passing through here also symbolizes, this transit symbolizes oftentimes repressed rage. And what's interesting about that is I have definitely been feeling that for a while. Like I feel like I've been having a lot of acknowledgement over repressed rage. And I've started painting as a way to work through a lot of that rage. And I call it rage painting, where I'm angry and listening to music that is fulfilling for me. And I'm creating through my anger. And that's been like a therapy for me that I've talked about in here in a few videos, because it's just been a good way for me to kind of process that anger. So if you've been working through feelings of repressed rage, that's a continuation throughout November, and finding healthy ways to acknowledge anger and work through it is also really important, because anger can also manifest as health issues in the body. And so it's really important if we acknowledge, if we have, anger or repressed feelings or emotions, that we're going into the subconscious and thinking about, how do we work on healing this, and how do we put words to it, and how do we, this is the mercurial part, like how do we how do we process it, and how do we cope with it, and how do we transmute it? That's the Scorpio part. How do we transmute the pain into power? Scorpio is all about pain into power. How do we take our pain and our trauma and our hardship and do something meaningful with it that empowers us to continue to do better and grow and evolve and, you know, become more of an empowered self through that? And it's hard sometimes when you're in the gutter to feel like you can even see, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think that, you know, when we sit in the pain and we acknowledge it and we validate it and we experience it and we cope with it and we find constructive ways to work through it, we can transmute it. And then, you know, there's a lot of those sayings that, you know, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be who I am today. And so I'm so grateful for that terrible time in my life because it helped make me who I am today. And I think that when we're in the terrible part, it's really hard sometimes to see that future self because we're just in the shit. But I think that if we continue to persevere and really try to work through it and learn from it and heal it, we can end up in that place where we look back and say, I'm so thankful I went through that because I have this wisdom and I am this person today. I personally am still having a hard time with that one. I'm still working on that, but I'm trying to have faith, right? So that's all we can really do, is have faith that we're going to get to that other side of it. Another thing that we start out November with is Venus finishing up her time in Virgo. So Venus has been in Virgo in October. Let's see, she's been in Virgo, yeah, since October. And then she's going to be finishing up in the first week of November, her stint. So where she's been has been the area that rules career. And so this has been a really positive transit for the Sagittarius individual because it basically elevates you in the job that you're in. If you want to get a promotion, a raise, more recognition, more opportunities, Venus passing through the 10th house helps to bring all of that. So hopefully if you are working and have a career, you've experienced some kind of opportunities or promotions or raises, or if you've changed careers or changed jobs, hopefully you're in a job now that you're feeling better about. There's a lot of those opportunities when Venus is passing through here. She's going to be leaving Virgo on the 8th and moving into her home sign of Libra. And the area of the chart that highlights for the Sagittarius individual is the area that has to do with friendship circles, groups of people, our community, political organizations that we're interested in, and also networking. And so November might be a very social month for a lot of Sagittarius people. You might also want to be more social or connect more with your community or friends. It's a great time for philanthropy or aligning yourself with political organizations that are in alignment for you, doing something in your life that brings meaning to your community. Things like that is of emphasis. Sagittarius is also a sign that usually likes to party and have a good time. So if you are, you know, still in that mode, you might be feeling like you want to party and get out and be social. Even if you're sober, you know, party doesn't have to be about getting wasted or drunk, but, you know, you might be more interested in connecting with people in a social way. And if you're an introverted Sagittarius, which I have a lot of introverted Sagittarius people in my life, you know, even if it's connecting in small ways with people that you have close, intimate relationships with, that's also highlighted there while Venus is in Libra. And Venus is going to be in Libra for the rest of the month. So she's going to be here during your birthday time. So you might feel more inclined to be social around your birthday than maybe you have in years past with her passing through here. Shortly after Venus enters Libra, Mercury is going to enter Sagittarius on the 9th. And the area that's hitting for the Sagittarius dominant person is the area that has to do with our identity and our relationship to self. And so Mercury being the planet that rules communication and perspective and information, we might be in a state of reflection around our relationship to self and our identity. Sagittarius rules belief systems and value systems. So we might also be reflecting on our value systems and belief systems about ourselves. The Sagittarius story continues in this area of the chart when the sun moves into our sign on the 23rd, and then Mars follows suit after on the 24th. And so we're going to have that sun, Mercury, Mars in the first house around our identity. And so this is a really good time to work on self-confidence, having a strong relationship to who we feel like we are on an individual level, building maybe more autonomy. If you feel like you've been in a codependent place, or maybe some place within yourself that feels a little bit more like you're not grounded in yourself, this is a time where maybe you start to feel more of that energy coming into you, in terms of like, oh, here I am, this is who I want to be. Or even if you're confused about who you want to be, you might really be reflecting on, who am I, who do I want to be, that type of stuff. So it's a good time to work on yourself and work on your relationship to yourself. So at the end of November, that's going to be a big theme for Sagittarius, is who am I, what am I doing, how am I doing it, how do I do more of what I want to do, how do I do more of what feels in alignment for me, all of that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the moon. So we have a new moon on November 13th at 20 degrees of Scorpio, highlights the career area. New moons are all about setting intentions. I'm sorry, it doesn't highlight the career area. It highlights the area of the subconscious that we were talking about earlier. So this is a great time if you have any unresolved trauma or unresolved anger that, you know, Mars has kind of been drudging up. This is a really powerful time for you to set intentions around, yeah, because Mars is actually a player in this new moon. It's not exactly conjunct, but it's close enough that the repressed anger and healing anger and transmuting it and letting it go, that's a really good time to set intentions around that, for the Sagittarius person. Unresolved trauma, healing it, setting intentions around that is the focus. November 27th, we have a full moon at 4 degrees Gemini. So Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius, and where that's hitting in the horoscope is the area that has to do with relationships. So the moon's going to be in our relationship house, and the sun's going to be in our identity house. And so what we're reflecting on during the full moon on November 27th is our values and belief systems and our perspectives and how we communicate in our relationships. And so if we've been kind of in a state of thinking about the I versus the we versus the other versus what I need versus what that person needs, we're going to be in that state of really, you know, evaluating that. Full moons are a time of letting go and releasing, as well as manifesting and calling things in. So this is a powerful time if there's relationship dynamics, especially around communication, that you're just done over. Set intentions towards transmuting and releasing that. If you're in a state of wanting to set intentions towards more of what you want in your relationship, this is also a really positive time for you. If you're single, this is a positive time for you to call in what type of relationship you want to have, if that's something that you want. If you're single and you're happy single, this also can be relationships with best friends or business partners. It doesn't have to be romantic partnerships. It can also just be relationship dynamics with the people that you're closest with in your life and how you want to connect with them moving forward. All right, I think I'm good there. I think that overall November is going to be a very deep, reflective month, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for play and fun. I think that it's important that you spend a lot of time with people that bring out the best in you, that make you feel good about yourself, while also spending a lot of time working on yourself in, you know, an autonomous way where you're alone and kind of pouring, you know, into your own cup, and doing a lot of personal work on healing and growing past anything that you've been working through in a deep way. I relate a lot to that for sure. All right, if you like this video, feel free to hit like and subscribe. I post these every month. You can follow me at theladyofleisure.com and thesobercurator.com. And I wish you all the best of luck and happy birthday. I will see you next month.